Good morning, everyone. I am Teacher Jarrett, and today we are going to be reading about how animals survive in the wild, just like we did the last two lessons, remember? The turkey vultures, right? And then we learned about a lot of different animals too and how they eat in the wild. So today, the name of our story is Go Gator. Go Gator by Diane Ferrucci. Okay, so a gator is a short name for an alligator, right? There's a big alligator, and they have many teeth, right? And they crawl in the land, and they swim in the water. So this story today is nonfiction. We are going to see a lot of real life pictures and learn about real life things. And our paired read today is poetry. Yay! Okay, let's get going to the story. Genre, nonfiction. Essential question. How do animals survive in nature? The title is Go Gator by Diane Ferrucci. Our paired read is poetry, and the title is Ducklings. That's baby ducks. And we will read that on page 13. Here's a picture of a little alligator. Maybe it's a baby alligator, or maybe it's just a small alligator. We don't know. We'll read the story and maybe we'll find out. Okay. What is that over there? Is it a bumpy log? No, it's an alligator in a warm swamp. So we can see there's the alligator. Here's his eyes. Let's see what the next page is. Alligators live in the green parts of the U.S., United States, Atlantic Ocean, Gulf of Mexico. So you can see alligators live in this whole area, right? That's a big area for alligators to live. It's got lots, those areas have lots of warm water, right? Because they're pretty far south in the United States. So let's read more. The alligator floats below the water. Do you see the eyes and the tip of the nose? So here's the tip of the nose. You can see the little hole that it breathes out of, right? So it's like if you went underwater, or you went underwater up to here, you could still breathe through your nose, right? That's what the alligator does. His mouth is underwater. This is his this is his mouth underwater, but he can still breathe through his nose. And we can also see his eyes. So he's looking for food. Look at the alligator's skin. It's thick and bumpy. The little spikes have hard bones inside. So you can see all of these little bumps on his skin. They have hard bone inside. So if you tap your forehead, just softly, you can feel it's pretty hard, right? That's because there's bone behind your head. If you feel your arm, though, it feels pretty soft, right? It's not hard. So the alligator has lots of little pieces of bone under his skin. Alligators search for food at night. They have many sharp teeth and strong jaws. You can see here's the alligator teeth, and their jaws go like this, and they're very strong. So if they grab something, then that thing will not get out because their jaws are so strong. Imagine if you take your hand and grab something really tight. The alligator is even stronger than that. So they're a big animal. Alligators seek food when they are hungry. Something is moving. Snap! What did the alligator catch? Was it a snake? Was it a raccoon? This is a raccoon. We talked about raccoons before, remember? They have the stripe across their eyes that's dark, that looks like they're wearing a mask. You can see there's the dark stripe across his eyes. Oh, it doesn't show us what the alligator caught, but maybe he caught a snake or a raccoon or another animal that was close to the water. If the animal is big, the alligator won't have to hunt again soon. A really big meal can last for more than a year. So if an alligator eats a big animal, then maybe it won't have to eat for 2 months, because the body of the alligator processes it slowly. So the animal is inside the alligator, and the alligator's body slowly takes the nutrients. So the alligator doesn't have to eat every day. Like you and me, we both have to eat every day or we will be hungry. An alligator doesn't have to eat every day if it ate a very big meal. The front feet have 5 toes. The back feet have 4. Alligators can move fast if they have to. So we can count the toes. 1, 2, 3, 4. There must be one back here. 5. But if we look at the back, it only has 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So the front feet have 5. The back feet back here only have 4 toes. They can move fast if they want to, but they can't run very far. Alligators can't run very far. Okay. So let's go to the next page. Look at the long, flat tail. It helps the alligator swim fast. Go, gator! Go, gator! So we can see the tail is flat here and flat on the sides, right? Let's look here. You can see it's flat, right? So that means when the tail moves back and forth, it can help the alligator swim very fast. So if it's trying to catch food, you got it. It can move fast to catch its food. Okay. This baby alligator came from an egg. Its mom made a nest. She stayed close by to care for her eggs. Here is a baby alligator. They start out so small, but then they get so big. Just like you. You start out as a little baby, but then you get very big. Okay. She keeps the baby safe for 2 or 3 years. When they are big and strong, they start to find their own food. They go off on their own. Baby alligators have yellow stripes. Okay, so we can see the mother alligator is taking care of the baby and protecting it from danger, right? If the baby alligator is on the mother, it will be very hard for other animals to catch the baby alligator, right? Yeah. That's the end of our story. So at the end of our story, they told us how the babies grow up and go on their own to find food and lay eggs and swim around in the water. Okay? All right, so now it is time to respond to reading. Yay! So retell. Use the chart to help you retell. Go, Gator! So today's chart is going to be a main idea and key detail chart. So let's put the main idea up here like we usually do. and then we'll put our key details below it. Okay, let's make this chart a little bigger. And we will have our arrows going from the main idea chart to the key details. Remember, this is not a sequence chart, right? Sequence tells us first, next, then last, right? But this is just a main idea and detail. So the arrows all come from the main box. In a first, next, then last chart, the arrow goes from the top box to the next box. Then from this box, it goes to this box. And then from this box, it goes to this box, right? But for our story, we can put these details in any order. So we could start at the end and put this key detail right here. Or we could start in the middle and put this key detail here. It doesn't matter. But for us, we will put the key details in order of the way we read them in the story. Okay? So our main idea is how alligators survive in the wild, right? So that's our main idea. So our first key detail, this is some information, but it's not really a key detail of how they survive. So we can talk about this, right? This alligator skin is thick and bumpy, so that helps protect it from other animals that might want to eat him, right? Or her. So we can say our first key detail is the alligator's skin is thick and bumpy. Okay, so that's the first detail. Now let's keep going in our story and see what the next detail is. Here's another detail. Alligators search for food at night, and they have many teeth and strong jaws, right? Alligators search for food at night. They have strong jaws. Okay. No, let's just make this bigger this way. Okay, so that's another key detail, right? We learned about how they protect themselves. We learned about how they eat. Let's keep looking. Here's another detail. It tells us about the alligator's feet and their tail, right? So we can say alligators have 5 toes on their front feet and 4 toes on back feet and a long tail, a long flat tail to help them swim fast, right? Yeah, okay. So that's another good detail about the alligators. So let's move this down, move that up, move this down, move this down. Okay. So let's find one more key detail, okay? Let's see. Oh, here's a baby alligator, and we can say that it comes from eggs, right? Baby alligators come from eggs. Their mother watches them for 2 to 3 years, right? So baby alligators come from eggs, and their mother watches them for 2 to 3 years to keep them safe. Okay, so those were some key details from our story today. Let me move this down. We'll make this a little bigger. Okay, there we go. So now you can practice this again if you want, but now we're going to answer some questions. So let's make our question answering area here. And, oh, we don't want that. We will make black letters, and we are going to answer the questions. So, question 1. Look at page 8. What is odd about an alligator's feet? Let's go to page 8 and find out. Oh, we wrote about this right here in one of our key details. So something that is odd or strange about an alligator's feet is that it has 5 toes in front and 4 toes in back, right? Alligators have 4 toes, 5 toes on their front feet and 4 toes on their back feet. That is odd, right? Because usually, like for humans, we have 5 fingers on one hand, 5 fingers on another hand, and 5 toes on one foot, and 5 toes on our other foot, right? So it's odd that the alligator doesn't have the same number of toes on all of his or her feet. Yeah. Okay, let's look at our next question. Look at page 9. What is the main idea? Okay, let's go to page 9. At page 9. What is the main idea? So let's go to page 9. So what is the main idea on page 9? The main idea is that the alligator can swim fast, right? Yeah. So the main idea on page 9 is that the alligator can swim fast. And a key detail on page 9 is that the alligator has a long, flat tail, right? Yeah, so the main idea is they swim fast, and the key detail tells us how they swim fast. And that's with a long, flat tail. Okay, let's go to our last question. Okay, let's make this bigger. Well, first I'll type it, and then we can make it bigger. 3. Are the alligators in Go-Gator made up, or are they real? How do you know? Okay, so let's make this bigger now that we have our question. So we can say the alligators are real because we can see real photographs of them in the story, right? So we know that alligators are real because we can see pictures of them, right? So if they were drawings, maybe we wouldn't know if they were real or not, right? Maybe, I don't know. But after we saw pictures, we are pretty sure that the alligators are real animals, right? Because photographs usually tell us the truth. So if we see a photograph, we usually know that that's the right thing and it's real. But if someone drew the picture, it would be hard to tell. We wouldn't know if it was real or not real, right? Yeah. Okay. Another way you can tell if they're real or not is you can go onto the internet and look up the word alligator and see what pictures come up. If the pictures come up the same as the book, then you can probably bet that alligators are real. Okay? All right, now let's go to our next story. I'm going to erase this and 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 this. Okay, so genre poetry. Compare texts. Read a poem about small, soft animals. And the name of the story is Ducklings. Fuzzy little quacking puffs, all dressed up in yellow fluff. Quacking means quack, 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 quack. Okay, you can try. Ready? You try. Quack, 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 quack. That's what this word means. So we can see they're little fuzzy balls of fluff, and they're all dressed up in yellow, right? Waddling as they cross a street, paddling with their big webbed feet, swimming down the stream to play, downy ducklings on their way. So we can see here they are crossing the street, and they're just like penguins, right? They go waddle, 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 waddle. And they have big feet, right? Big webbed feet. And they swim in the stream. Okay? Mama duck will teach her brood means group of babies, how to dive to find their food. Mama duck will lead her pack is another word for group of ducklings, all the way downstream and back. So she'll take them all the way down the stream and then all the way back up the stream. Okay? This busy day has been the best. Now the ducklings have to rest. So we can see here are the ducklings and they're sleeping, right? So this is a good story. It tells us how ducklings survive. They have to rely on their mother to teach them how to swim, how to find food, and then when they're all done, they get some sleep, and the mama duck watches them, right? Okay, so make connections. How are ducklings like baby alligators? So, ducklings come from eggs. It didn't say it here, but they do. And alligators come from eggs, right? We can also see that ducklings find their food in the water. They have to dive for food in the water. And the baby alligators also have to learn how to find food from their mother, right? The mother alligator takes care of her babies, and so does the mama duck, all right? So the animals are kind of similar when they're babies. They need someone to take care of them, just like you, just like me. When we were little, we needed our mother and father to take care of us. But then as we get older, we can take care of ourselves, right? Yeah. Okay, so now let's go to the next page. Focus on science. Purpose. To find out about wild animals that live near you. What to do? Step 1. Look for animals outside. Step 2. Draw a chart like the one below and fill it in. What I saw, where I saw it, what it was doing. Step 3. Write a story about an animal in your chart. Draw a picture to go with your story. Share with the class. Conclusion. What do some wild animals do? So this is something you need to do by yourself, okay? Or with your mother or father. So you can pause now and draw this chart. And after class, you can go outside or look out your window and you can look for birds or cats or dogs, and you can say where you saw it. Maybe the bird was flying in the air, or maybe the bird was in the tree, or maybe the cat was in a bush, and you can say what it was doing. So maybe it was flying, or maybe it was feeding its babies, or maybe it was just resting and sleeping or walking around. Okay? So this is something you can go and do as soon as we're done with our lesson. Okay? Okay. Now this is our last page for today. We're just going to answer a few more questions. So we'll make our answer box, and we'll type our question first. What is Go Gator mostly about? What did you learn about how alligators survive? So we can say that the story Go Gator is mostly about how alligators survive in the wild, right? Talked about their skin and how they eat. And then to answer the next question, we can talk about what we learned about how the alligators survive. So we learned that alligators have tough skin, right? Tough skin, strong jaws. Tough skin and strong jaws. We also learned they can swim very fast, and the mother alligators take care of the baby alligators for 2 to 3 years. Okay, let's read all of this together now, because that was kind of long. What is Go Gator mostly about? What did you learn about how alligators survive? The story Go Gator is mostly about how alligators survive in the wild. We learned that alligators have tough skin and strong jaws. We also learned they can swim very fast, and the mother alligators take care of their baby alligators for 2 to 3 years, right? So the tough skin and strong jaws is to help them protect themselves and eat food. And they can swim very fast to find food or get away from animals that want to eat them. And the mother alligators take care of the baby alligators. So the baby alligators are protected from danger while they are still young and small. Okay, so now let's go to our next question. Why do you think the author of Go Gator, why do you think the author wrote Go Gator? So we can say, I think the author wrote Go Gator to help us learn about alligators, right? So the author wrote the story so that you and me can learn more about alligators, right? Because alligators are very big and scary. So you and me, can't go and pick one up and look at it. We can look at a cat or a dog or a bird, but alligators are very big and dangerous. So the author wrote us a story and showed us pictures so that we can learn about alligators and we can be safe when we learn about alligators, right? Yeah. Okay, so let's go to answer the last question and then we will be done for today. Okay, so our last question is, how are alligators like other wild animals you have read about? How are they different? Okay, so that's a good question. We read about a lot of animals this week, right? So let's see. Alligators are like cheetahs and frogs because they eat other animals, right? We learned last lesson that cheetahs and frogs eat other animals, and alligators eat other animals, so they're very similar that way, right? We also know that alligators can be very fast, like the cheetah or the ostrich, right? So they can be very fast, like the cheetah or the ostrich. So they're similar to that as well. So how are they different? So we can say alligators don't eat plants, right? So some animals like hippos, right? And sometimes ostriches would eat plants, but alligators only eat meat. So alligators don't eat plants. This is different from hippos and squirrels, right? Let's think of one more difference. What's another difference? Can you think of anything? I have an idea. Alligators have tough skin. They don't have fur like bears, right? So we talked about bears, and bears have fur, right? We saw the brown fur on the bear from the last lesson. So alligators have tough skin. It's very hard, right? But bears have soft, furry skin. So it's a different type of skin, right? So that's another difference. So these are a lot of similarities and differences for alligators and how we can compare them to other animals we read about this week. So if you want to go back to our previous lesson, you can do that lesson again and see all the animals we talked about and try to find more similarities and differences to alligators, okay? But now it is the end of our lesson. So it's time for me to say bye-bye. Okay, we learned a lot of things this week about how animals survive in the wild. And next week, we're going to talk about different things, okay? So we'll learn new words and read new stories, and we'll learn new things. So have a good day, and I will see you next time. Okay, bye-bye.